Welcome back to another episode of To the Moon. We had some technical difficulties a little earlier, so we got Scott back again. Everyone, welcome Scott Jenkins to the podcast. Scott, you are an incredible guy. You've been working with me for quite some time now out of Northern California. You and your wife, Casey. This To the Moon podcast is all about you. And so we want to know all about you, Scott. What brought you, first off, I want to ask you, what brought you to this crazy niche of wholesale real estate?
Well, my wife and I spent decades in corporate America. She was with Fortune 500, working as the worldwide credit collection manager, doing the 9 to 5s, which actually turned out to be, 7s to 7s or 8s, many days of the week. And she never had a holiday because credit and collections, you're operating around the year. I mean, every day, especially your closings are year end. So Christmas and New Year didn't exist. So I spent those alone. And I was with corporate America, working in security and business intelligence, traveling around the world. So I was always on the road. So we never really saw each other. And we were thinking, hey, there's got to be something else in life. There's got to be something that not only benefits us and it helps us find the freedom we're looking for, but also a legacy for our children. Because you leave corporate America, what do you truly leave your children? Nothing. I mean, they can go to school, they can learn a trade and learn a profession, but they're going to get on that same hamster wheel we're on. So what does that look like long term for them? So we were looking for something, and my wife had seen an ad for, and I'll mention it, Fortune Builders. We did join Fortune Builders, and we thought, hey, this is something that we think we're astute enough to understand, and it's something that we could probably transition to from corporate America into that and use the skill sets we've acquired over the decades to do that. So we dove in and spent the first year of that really studying, because we'd never done real estate. Yeah. So we went to all the training classes, all the boot camps. I think cumulatively we probably have close to 900 hours of real estate education.
Awesome.
Now, did that really bring a deal to the door? No, it didn't. Because honestly, it is, doing what we do every day is challenging. And anyone who jumps into this thinking it's going to be easy, that I can sit back and wait for people to bring me deals, just isn't going to happen. You have to be out there. You have to be active. You got to be consistent. So I personally struggled for many, many months trying to find out who I am, what I want to do. And actually, your week one in Astro is so eye-opening. I wish I had been able to do that way back when. Might have saved me a year. But anyway, I found that I started watching a lot of YouTubes, and that's where I first saw you with Ty on the Flip Man. And I started devouring Brent Daniels, all of his wholesaling. Pace Morby, not as much, but Max Maxwell and Ty with you talking about wholesaling. And I thought, this is me. That's what I want to do. I've negotiated contracts every day, almost every day of my life in corporate America. I know how to do that. I know how to speak with people. So I started wholesaling. Getting into that, that's where I discovered Astro Flipping. And that was the infamous light bulb going off. That the traditional way is you doing cold calling, going direct to seller, and that is successful, but it does take a while to do. When you continue to do that, but you add the micro flipping philosophy to it, now you're leveraging several layers of wholesaling in one.
Correct.
So now you're able to develop those relationships with other wholesalers and have them bring you deals, and you can dispo that or sell it to buyers that you're developing. So there's so many different channels or pipelines for opportunities that it's just exponentially growing. So that's what I love about Astro Flipping, not only the philosophy, the methods, the principles of doing it, but the community.
Yeah.
The community is probably the biggest thing you get out of it, is meeting people that I probably never ever would have met. I know I haven't seen them face to face, but virtually on the phone, sharing deals, sharing life stories, getting to know them, creating that bond, and helping each other to grow. So I don't know if I answered your question very well, Jamil.
You did. You answered it beautifully, and I appreciate you saying that, and I love that, because the fact is I do everything I can in the group to provide value and be there for the students. At the same time, I can't be there 24/7. I have a business to run. I've got Keegley that's operating. We're franchised across the country. I have a TV show that we're beginning, and so it gets that does have a pull on my time. However, because our community is so strong and so deep and so connected, and because we foster that so well, the capacity for student to student interaction and student to student help and student to student deal doing is so real. And that has been probably, in my opinion, the largest impact on my life, because being able to watch people connect, being able to watch people win by abandoning the scarcity mindset and coming into it with an abundance mindset, and how can we be cumulative, and how can we be additive to each other rather than subtractive to each other. That is what creates opportunity, right?
Good terminology. Yep. Good terminology.
And that is what I think has been the crowning achievement of what Astro Flipping has turned into. And it's because of folks like you. It's because of folks like you that are open to that are willing to share, that are willing to work, that are willing to take a call from somebody new, knowing that that individual will learn and grow and become a partner for you later on. And so you don't want to ignore somebody. You don't want to make somebody feel bad. You were in the same spot at some point as well, and you reached out to people. And so that whole thing, the one hand reaching back, and another one pulling you forward is the philosophy of what Astro Flipping community is. And you guys embody it so well. And without individuals like you, Scott, and like Casey, this wouldn't exist. And so, my hat's off to you.
Well, I've stumbled a lot, right? I mean, we all do. Stumbling is good. Failure is good. I mean, I've failed so many times in life, and I'm the better for it, right? I mean, you learn from it. Stupidity is doing it again, right? Or that's the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same dumb thing again. Try to learn from it. But when I see people who are so hesitant to do anything because they're afraid to fail, that's failure in and of itself by not doing it. So just go do it. What I appreciate with you, you got 3 real strong God-given gifts. And 1, you're a visionary. 2, you're a heck of a mentor, and you're a great leader. What I find a little bit, and I don't mean to be critical to anyone at all, not at all, but study, learn, read. You repeat it all the time. Never stop learning. Don't learn a little bit and think you know everything. You don't. Like I said, my wife and I, cumulatively, we have 900 hours of training in real estate.
Right.
And I still don't know everything. So I am touched. I'm humbled when people reach out to me and say, hey, I don't know how to run an ARV, or I don't know how to do a repair estimate, or I'm not sure how to write this contract. I mean, the first assignment agreement I did, bless his heart, Curtis Harvey walked me through it. And I mean, without him, I probably could have done it. I would have stumbled through it. I would have made a mountain of mistakes. No, undoubtedly. But that's the beauty of this program. To know you can get mentorship. I don't have to bother you. I shouldn't have to bother you. I should know, 1, it's in the course material. Take time to read it. 2, there are people out there who have done this repeatedly. Reach out to them. Everyone is there and willing to help. You just have to ask for it. And that's where, if I go back to where I was before in Fortune Builders, I was a Lone Ranger. And, coming from a strong military background, you sometimes find yourself in certain situations where you're self-reliant. And I had that philosophy in wholesaling. I had to be self-reliant. I mean, I had to go out there and get the deals and bring the deals in and sign the contract. It's a mind shift coming to Astro. You're not alone. You've got 1,000 people out there. doing the same bloody thing, and all they want to do is get to know you, partner with you, and help you grow. At the same time, you're giving back by helping somebody else grow.
Yep.
So that's what this whole bloody thing is about. It's phenomenal.
Right.
It really is.
That.
If you embrace it,
yes,
it's phenomenal.
Yes.
You can swim upstream. If you swim upstream, you ain't going far.
It's harder. It's definitely harder. And we see that. We see that, you know, on our coaching calls. Every once in a while, you'll see the lone wolf mentality, or the individual, you know, swimming against the current. And we're always there to try to bring them in, right? We're always there to try to say, hey, look, friend, come join us. See, it's so much easier when you go this direction. And oftentimes you have to let them kind of flip and flop, and then they find their way back to the way that we're all moving. And hopefully that happens before they quit, right? And so that is a big part of what I think is really special about you, Scott, because I understand the program you were in. It's a huge financial investment. I mean, you know, 10x probably what we're at.
Yeah, you're close there. Yeah.
And so when you know, how did you ante up again? Because that's something that I think people have trouble doing. You know, you invest $50,000 plus, and you don't have a deal yet, right? And then now all of a sudden there's this blue genie that you see on an ad or whatever, and there's another financial requirement, right? And again, I wish I could teach everybody for free, but if you don't have skin in the game, you're not going to do the work. That's just what happens. No. Right?
Yeah, you got to have skin in the game. That's like anything you do in life. If it's free, you take it for granted, and you're half-heartedly into it. How did we ante up again? I mean, my wife and I sat down and made a very conscious decision, and said, you know, she told me this morning, her mom, who is a pretty wise woman, says to her or us all the time, you know, you got to have the right tools for the job. And it's so true. And realizing, first off, this is who we are. We're wholesalers. That's what we want to do. We want to do buy and holds as soon as we get enough cash in the bank, but we're wholesalers. So what are the right tools for that job? And when I saw Astro Flipping, and I saw your ad, and I talked to John, bless his heart, shout out to John, it just clicked and it made sense. Yeah, it's an investment, and we've spent a lot of money in real estate education. If I could go back in time, I might do things differently. But then again, I would not replace the educational background I got from Fortune Builders, and I continue to get. And when you're talking about networking, I mean, I network with Fortune Builder students nationwide to offer up the opportunities that I bring in as a wholesaler.
There you go.
One more time, I have a privileged network of people because it's a private Facebook group that I have direct access to. So that is invaluable in and of itself. But taking a conscious decision of, is this investment wise or not? Are we going to see a return on investment? The answer we came up with, absolutely we will. Because I hear what I'm told, you're going to get your first deal in 30 days. I don't care. I honestly don't care. I know my deals will start coming in when I've built that home with a solid foundation. Today, I have that solid foundation, the walls are going up, and the roof is being put in place. So now I've got, I don't know how many deals I've got in my portfolio right now. I mean, I'm operating, I think, in 9 regions right now. And I'm blessed, man. I mean, I've got deals coming in. I comped 7 or 9 this morning before I got on the call. It's going to start flowing. So, hey, it all takes time. It's a journey. It's a marathon. It sure as heck is not a sprint, but you have to lay that foundation. So going back to your initial question, the investment for us, yeah, we had to get the money together. Yeah, it was spending more money, but it was a wise investment to get us to the goal we have set for ourselves. One, financial freedom and the freedom of choice of our time. And 2, legacy for our children. I'm teaching my son, who lives in Geneva, Switzerland, how to wholesale, because he can wholesale from there. All you need is an internet connection, for crying out loud. So he can start wholesaling. He'd never thought of that. So I mean, as being able to transmit down to the next generation how they too can become financially free. And I wish, at my age today, I wish I had heard of all of this 40 years ago. We'd have a different conversation today, buddy.
Well, you know, the facts are is I always believe where we're at, and we're supposed to go through what we go through, and you know, your son is learning a tremendous amount from you, and look at this amazing adventure you're on with Casey. Right? I want to talk a little bit about that because I've had the pleasure of working with you and her, and I see the dynamic of a husband and wife team. Talk a little bit about that, right? What is it like working with your wife every day in this business, and what are the challenges and what are some of the perks?
Well, honestly, I'm blessed to be able to do it with her. It's a shared passion that we've got, and actually, she's not with me today, or she would be, because she's caring for her mother. So her parents are elderly, and her mother is slightly ill, so she's out caring for her. But this is giving us the opportunity to be able to do that. So she still can. She sits in on the Zoom classes. She is the objective observer for me. So since I am doing this more actively right now than she is, I get in the weeds. And when I speak with her about what's going on and what I'm doing, she can have that objective look from the outside to say, have you tried this? Have you tried that? The fact that she's done the class with me, she understands micro flipping. She can see things that I may not see. And I know sometimes, yeah, it's husband, wife. Yeah, we will butt heads because she's as headstrong as I am. But we always find a way to say, okay, what is the best thing for our business and for us? And let's lay that down. The top 3 things that we should be doing right now, and focus on those. Everything else, that's just noise. Let it aside. So I'm blessed to have her as my wife, my business partner, and my objective observer.
Awesome. Yep. I love that. It's great. It's great watching you guys interact. It's great, you know, hearing your understanding and your guys's how your working relationship through it. It's a beautiful thing, and I think, you know, I wish more relationships were able to do that in a healthy and productive way. And you guys are an example for that. And thank you for doing it, because you show so many people in the program what that can look like. Let's talk a little bit about what you have experienced in the program, right? So you have done your first deal, right?
Yep.
And you've got plenty in the pipe, and so let's talk a little bit about that. What's it been?
Honestly, it's been exciting. Again, I didn't want to say in my mind, I'm going to close my first deal in 30 days. I didn't want that to be in front of me.
Pressure,
I didn't want that. What I wanted to do was, okay, understand, learn, and not master, but feel comfortable with the micro flipping principle and how that works, and do my outreach, start setting up my foundation. So I'm partnering with an Astro student that is currently in Portland, Dominique, who is on our calls. I'm partnering with Emroy out of I think it's New Jersey, if that's right. Yep. I'm working with Joe in Florida. I'm working. Gosh, there are too many people actually to name. I'm sorry. Please forgive me, guys, if I forgot your name.
You're good.
But laying that foundation, so they bring deals to me, or I bring deals to them, and then we partner on those deals. So we're JVing on all of these deals. Right now, I think we've got about 40 or 45 in the pipeline. I'm putting off, all of them are under option right now, except 4. So I think we're going to be closing, I would say if we're using the typical principle, we'll probably close on 3, 4, or 5 of those, ranging in price line. I mean, we're going from the low end to the high end. So I love it. I'm excited by it. I get out of bed every morning energized. To get in here early in the morning and do my comping, and then do my comping at night. So I've been comping twice a day to stay up on top of it. I'm partnering with sub-2 students. So I've reached out to them after Pace did your birthday event.
Yes.
I took that list and I emailed all the sub-2s introducing myself. And I got responses from more than half of them. So now they're in my Podio, and I'm reaching out to them. John Poindexter out of Sacramento just came back from the mastermind. He and Ryan were partnered together. He's sending me properties. I'm comping them for them and giving them ARVs. They're locking them down, sending to me to dispo. So,
How
I mean,
cool.
isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
I mean, guys, you don't know where you're going to find your next partner. And I mean, they've got their own businesses. I've got mine, so I don't have to pay for employees. I don't have to pay payroll taxes. I run another business with my wife, and we have, I don't know, about 100 employees in there. And honestly, I don't want employees anymore, to be honest with you, because that's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
That, you know, they've got families, and you've got to make sure that they get fed before they get paid before you do.
Sure.
So that's
It's
running a
truth.
business, guys.
Yep.
But you're developing all these relationships, and you're leveraging the strengths of each other to build each other's businesses. So that's what I'm loving about what we do here, is that
Amazing.
networking, you know, bringing ideas in, bringing business in, bringing opportunities. And that in itself opens up new markets. I mean, you're almost driven into a new market. I had to back off because I've been asked to go to another market. I don't want to yet because I'm going to be spread too thin. So I want to get depth, then start opening up another one. So that's where I'm at. I'm sorry if I'm verbose.
No, you're great.
You're
great.
question, man.
It's such an amazing time just hearing the experience. So with all that, right? Because we're coming to the end of this, and
Yep.
and I want to hear from you with respect to any advice you'd give to somebody that's new in the business that may be thinking, oh, this is hard. I feel like I'm going to quit. I'm not getting my first deal. I've been at this for 2 years. I've spent all this money. Life is tough. Blah blah blah. What's advice that you can give to somebody because you've been there?
First, never give up. I mean, you may fail, you may fall, you may skin your knees, but you got to stand up, dust yourself off, and go at it again. I mean, when I was cold calling, I would always say to myself, and I got my first FU a year and a half after doing calls, right? I was ecstatic. Finally, somebody told me to F off. So the thought is always the next call is going to be the deal.
Right.
The next call is always going to be the deal. The next opportunity coming in is going to be the next one. In Astro Flipping, my recommendation or suggestion to everybody, do the work, do the class, study the material. Don't rush through it. Get it ingrained in your brain. If you follow that, you will be successful. I watched Curtis Harvey with you. He's spot on. If you follow the training program and you follow what Josiah is saying, you and Josiah, you will be successful. Nobody can guarantee you when you're going to get your first deal, but you'll get it. That's the key.
Yes.
I can't tell you if you're going to get it in 10 days, 15, 40. You can't either.
Right.
We don't have a crystal ball. You will get it if you follow the program religiously and you're consistent in what you do. That's the key. You got to be consistent. You've got to work it every day. You can't work it 10 hours today and then take off 3 days.
Yep.
It doesn't work that way. Preferably do 4 hours every day, but stay focused and consistent, and you will get deals. And then deals will start coming in. Simple as that.
Focus and consistency. I think that's the name of the episode, honestly. Scott, you're a magical guy. I appreciate you. I appreciate your energy, your positivity, everything you bring, your honesty. The fact that you guys are such a giving couple, that you offer so much to the community, and that you've been able to see the success you've seen is tremendous to me. The impact is awesome, and I appreciate you, my friend.
Well, we try to emulate you. You're a very giving man. We love you very much. So happy you're recovered and you're on the way to full return to health. It's a blessing for us to be part of this. So if we can give back to people, we give back, man. Because you give of yourself, what, how many hours a week? 10, 12, 14 hours a week?
Right.
Come on. That's priceless. So thank you very much, Jamil.
Thank you. How can people find you? How can people find you?
Oh, they can reach me, Scott at dogwoodhomesolutions.com, or they can give me a call.
Scott at dogwoodhomesolutions.com?
Yep. Or they can give me a call.
What's your phone number?
925-565-5919.
Give him a call, guys.
Yep. Give me a call. Let's connect. Let's hook
Thank
up.
you, Scott.
All
We'll
right,
see
Jamil. Be
you
blessed.
later.
Have a great day.
Take care.